Hello and welcome to Chai and Chatcast from Leaders for Leaders. I'm Rupa Ark and I get to chat to some amazing women in STEM who are rising stars or change makers in their respective fields. This week, I got to have a great conversation with a cup of chai with Preena Lowden, who is a senior sales manager in a life sciences industry. She discusses and shares some insights and inspiring conversation how she made a transition working in a lab as a postdoctoral researcher and jumping into a world of sales. Enjoy the conversation. Right, welcome Preena, and thank you for joining me on this Chai and Chatcast for Leaders for Leaders. I have my cup of chai here. I hope you do too, right? I know this is my third cup, by the way.
And 3 more to come yet.
3 more to come yet, right? So how are you doing?
Yes, really good, thank you.
Yeah, good. It's nice to see. I saw on LinkedIn that you are out and about again, doing customer visits. That must be really nice, right?
Yeah, it's lovely to see people face to face. You just get a different energy from them and it just seems back to normal again, which I think we're all ready for.
Absolutely. I think it's that gradual return back to normal. And I guess for us in sales, that's the key pillar and key sort of motivator for us, right? Being in front of our customers and talking about our products and services, that gives us energy, right? I know we all adapted to the ways of working. How was that for you when you were in the pandemic?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, having 2 young kids, it helped just to settle me back into work because I had maternity leave during the pandemic. And then it was a nice, easy way to get back into, speaking with customers and then balancing the children. And so that was a lovely step, actually. And but now we're all ready. We're ready to get out there now.
Brilliant. So as we spoke before, but for our listeners, first of all, Preena, thank you very much again, being my first guest on my Chai and Chatcast for Leaders for Leaders. Really, the purpose of this conversation is to showcase what opportunities are there for women in STEM or men as well. This is inclusive, right? So I want to showcase, and my purpose and mission with this really is to showcase specifically women who have come from science and moved to commercial roles. So obviously, I've known you for many years. You and I have worked for same companies. We have known each other, so I know you very, very well. But obviously, it'd be great for our listeners to know, Preena, what attracted you to science, first of all? What was your motivation to get into science?
Sure. I'd say I'd always had an interest in STEM subjects. And I think in particular, the biology, chemistry, physics. And I think what it was, I was very fortunate to have inspirational teachers, which made the subjects really exciting and fun to learn about. So that, it encouraged me to take those subjects. And then also, I think my father was very keen in the STEM subjects, and he'd always, push me and encourage me to take an educational route into the scientific world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, isn't that the sort of a very typical Indian families, right? Same with us, right? I recorded a similar sort of a STEM recording, and it was like, why did you take STEM subject? Oh, that was the done thing. But yeah, great, right?
Yeah.
And how did you move from obviously doing your degree and then you went into do a PhD? Again, is that still continuing your interest in science, or was there something else that motivated you to do your PhD?
No, it was, I enjoyed doing my degree. I got an opportunity to do a PhD, and, it was a no-brainer. It was 4 years, fully funded. and you come out with a PhD. So yeah, I took the opportunity.
Great. And how was that experience for you working in the lab?
Oh, I loved it. I did. Yeah. There was a lovely variety of different subjects within my research that I could go down in. So it was, it was kept me busy, and interest was there. And then also the bonds that you make with, friendships that you make in the lab, because you're all going through this same experience together. You could be in the lab at 10 o'clock in the evening and you're all there, but if the friends really help you get through the experience. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time doing my PhD.
And I bet the family was very proud when you were given a Dr. Preena Lowden, right?
Yeah.
And you must have been very proud as well.
I think they were taken aback. They were like, "Oh, where's this come from?" So, but they were very proud.
So how long were you actually in the lab for? How many years did you stay in the lab?
So did the 4 years doing the PhD, and then probably a year doing like postgraduate work.
Great. And what sort of, obviously now what did you, so I mean, maybe that's a good place to start. Obviously we've jumped from you doing your PhD, enjoying your research, and you've been in sales for many, many years, right? So like I said, we go a long way. So currently, what do you currently do? What's your current role?
So I work for Scientific Laboratory Supplies as a territory sales manager. So I look after accounts within the West Midlands area. So I support sales of laboratory consumables, equipment, instruments, chemicals and services. Okay.
So talk our listeners through now, how did lovely Preena, who was working in the lab doing very important research, and many, many years later from different jobs, how did you get to where you are currently? What was that journey like?
I think whilst I was doing the postgraduate work, what I realised is I wanted a steady income. And I think with research, you get grants that are 3-year contracts or 1-year contracts. And I found that wasn't for me. I like I said, a steady income. So I did do a little bit of pharmaceutical repping just after my degree. I did that for 6 months and I did enjoy that. But then, I did my PhD, and then I thought, I don't think research is for me. So let's go back into sales and go into laboratory sales. So my first role after doing my PhD was with Thermo Fisher Scientific as a molecular biology specialist. It was quite a nice way because I could use my knowledge from my research, and it gets me that step into the commercial world. That was kind of my journey from research into starting off in sales.
How was it like coming from a lab into a sales role? How was it for you?
It's daunting at first because you think, oh, I have to start fresh. It's a business world, it's different, it's numbers and this, that and the other. But I think commercially, you've always got support there. There's training sessions, you've just got to talk to people and ask for help. And that helped me. Yeah.
So, how did you, I know the story, but I think it's really good to our listeners to know how you actually got into sales. Was somebody recommended you, right?
Right, yeah. So it was more, so working in the lab, you're interacting with the sales reps anyway, because they're coming to you and saying, can you, this is this product, that product. And it got me thinking, well, I'm talking to you, I'm sure I can talk to other people about the products they're using, because that's what we're doing at the moment. And so I started asking questions to my Fisher rep at the time. And she said, well, I think you'd be really suited to a sales role. So I went on the website that evening and had a Google and saw what jobs were available. And I thought, what, let's just do it. Let's apply and see where I get to. And just took the bullet, did it.
Brilliant. Isn't it? That's great. I mean, you're such a bubbly personality. You're such a smiley face, and I can see how that rep from Fisher Scientific immediately thought, Preena, you would make a great sales rep. And I can associate with that because that's exactly what happened to me many, many years ago now. I won't tell exactly how many years, but many years ago, working in a lab when again, it was a rep from a company that was called Pharmacy, a biotech, right, coming to me and saying, oh, have you ever considered going into sales? Sales, right? Me? Oh, yeah, you'd be good. So that's, Preena, it's a great, and how you said you enjoyed it, right, coming. So then obviously I see from, like, I know that you moved from different roles. You've stayed in, how has your career trajectory changed, or how have you done different roles since that first job as a molecular biology sales specialist?
Yeah, so I then went into consumable sales as a key account manager. So looking after quite significant accounts that spend quite a lot. So that pushed me down more down a corporate role again, and I enjoyed doing that. And then I moved to SLS 4 years ago. And yeah, now I look after quite a large portfolio, which keeps me very busy. But you know, it's lovely to have a variety to talk about to different customers. You know, 1 minute you could be talking to a procurement head about savings, and then half an hour later you're sat with a researcher advising which kind of enzymes might be suitable for their research. So yeah, I did like that kind of transition to SLS role.
Yeah. And if you were to look back now and go back to your first job in sales many, many years ago from, you know, molecular biology currently, if you reflect back, how have you grown in that role? How have you feel?
Yeah, definitely gained a lot of experience, you know, how to handle some situations. I think you can't learn it, you've got to experience it.
Yes.
And that comes with time. Yeah, and just be confident that you can do things, or even ask questions. It doesn't matter if you've had 10 years of experience, you know, you can't know everything. So yeah, I'm not afraid to ask. I think that's a lot of people in my company would say the same. Oh, Preena's here. What question have you got now?
Exactly. Ask away. You're asking lots and lots of questions, right?
Yeah.
You know, again, for our listeners who may not be familiar with laboratory sales, what's a typical day like in your life? Then, say you were pre-pandemic, and you're out there. What was your typical day like, Preena?
Yeah. So as a field sales rep, so we are out and about driving to different customers and arranging appointments. So again, every day is different. So Monday to Thursday, I typically went out in the field, meet the customers. And then Fridays, I'd have an admin day at home because you've seen all your customers and you need to kind of respond back to them with their requests. And again, it's very flexible in the sense that if you know you're going to be stuck in traffic, I would always start an appointment at 10 o'clock to give me that buffer as well. Drive to the customer, go and see them in the labs, or if there's an office, have that conversation, and then, you know, try and make the most of that day. So if I'm at university, I try and see as many customers as possible in that location. And then the next day I might be visiting a few people at a hospital or a biotech or you know, pharmaceutical company. So it's quite intense, but as long as you're organized, then I think it does work.
Yeah. And that's what's amazing about laboratory sales, right? It gives you the flexibility, and you can, I mean, if you were doing a walk around university, right, you can literally see 10, 20 people. I know in the previous days, a bit difficult these days, with now in the post-pandemic, it's going to be challenging, right? Because jobs it's going to change. It's the way we salespeople work out there, right? It's going to change right that way. But so it's a good day, right? So it's you plan, you're seeing different people, variety of your roles. how do you balance your, because this is quite important, and you're a very strong scientist like yourself, and women in STEM taking on a commercial role. How do you keep that balance between your love for science and sales? How does that work?
Oh, you're constantly learning because you're speaking with the researchers, you know, the end user. And if you can't keep that dialogue going, you can just get lost in it. So you're constantly researching as well yourself, just making sure you understand that what, you know, their research, and also the product. There's a lot of science behind products. And again, we speak with suppliers directly to get a bit of training on a certain product that, you know, they want pushing, or, you know, that's new. So it's constant. I'm always being educated still from, you know, with the biology or the, you know, chemistry of products. So yeah, it doesn't stop. So I've still got my buzz there. I've still got my what I want. Yeah,
I can tell. I mean, when I see your amazing posts on LinkedIn, it's amazing. I said, Preena is today, and then it's amazing to see the energy and the passion that you bring. And I get that's important, right? For the customer engagement as well, right? So I mean, I guess one of the key things in this chatcast that we want to sort of share our successes, share our amazing things that the women in STEM in various roles are doing. So anything you want to share from your last many years of working in this amazing role and growing in your role? So that's very important piece, right? That you have moved continually as you grew, right? So yeah, talk our listeners through some of that. Sure.
So yes, there's always opportunities to do different things within the corporate world. You know, you might enjoy just doing what you do, but never be scared to have a look at a different avenue. Or, you know, you might be good at something else. Why don't you try that? And that's what I've kind of done. I've, you know, gone from being a molecular biology specialist to more commercial, and that's just gone with taking those chances and risks, you know, thinking, can I do it? You know, I'm really from a science background, I'm more researcher, but, you know, you can do it and take the opportunities, and I always say yes.
Yeah. And I think that's really, really important. And one of the things that I think I want to really share with women in STEM who are aspiring to come into commercial roles is to do reflect, right? To sort of say, okay, reflect back and say, oh, like in your case, right, you were working in the lab, you had that science background, you took it with you in your first role as a molecular biology specialist. For our listeners, that's selling molecular biology products to the end user, to the scientist. And then you applied that into your roles as you went through, you applied that science, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything reflecting back and you think, yeah, this is what was the key moment for me for moving from that role to another? Was there a one point where you thought, you know, Preena, time to move on and do something else now?
That's quite a difficult question.
Was it just like one of those things, opportunity came your way and you was like, yeah, I'm going to go?
Yeah, there's so many opportunities. And when you're in this field, you get to know different suppliers, different people, and you build your own network. Yes. And that sometimes they come with opportunities to you. And if it sounds interesting, then you listen, you know, it might be for you. And I suppose, you know, that is kind of how you can progress in that corporate world.
And so true, networking. And my sort of mantra is #power of connections, right? And like we've stayed connected, and you know, it's amazing that and that networking is the key. So it was networking that kept you sort of thinking and moving. Yes. What else did help you progress? What else?
getting to a certain age and getting to a certain level of experience where you just think, well, can I do more? Can I go up the next step in the ladder? Have the experience, I think, now.
Great.
So it's kind of having confidence in yourself to say you can do it. And I've been doing it successfully for years. So time to go up.
Fabulous. I love that. Can do, right? I can do this. I have the confidence. I have the experience, right? I'm going to go and do that. And I think that is really crucial. That sometimes I think we tend to sort of, women, I think we tend to have this nature sort of stuff. We get comfortable sometimes and we think, oh yeah, I'm enjoying this. And I, again, from my own experience, right? I got comfortable in a lot of roles and you think, I'm comfortable here, or, you know, everybody talks about it these days, it's in the news a lot, and every coaching lesson you pick up is talking about imposter syndrome. And it's true. Some of us who are really, really confident still will think twice. Am I good enough for that? So it's really refreshing to hear, Preena, that you had the confidence and you felt, I have the experience. I'm gonna go do that now. So I see in your current role, you were a territory manager, and then you went on to do a senior territory manager role. And within a few years, you moved on to senior manager. And that is really another excellent, really, really so good to see. So how does that change for you? How does that reflect for you when you've gone from territory manager to a senior territory manager?
I was very proud when they said, we'd like to make you a senior. And I'm there to help support my manager as well. You know, if he's away or needs a bit of help, then I think he'll call upon myself to do that.
Great.
Yeah.
So you are already what we call a role model, a mentor, right, within the company for the next upcoming people, or supporting your wider team. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Great. And how do you enjoy that? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, no, I feel great because I feel like I've got the experience and I like to share it. To be honest, even if I wasn't a senior, I still would. If there's something useful that I've learned, you know, I like to share the knowledge. There's no point in keeping it to yourself. You've got to help everyone along the way. So no, it's good, and it does make me feel proud, especially like the journey that I've had. You know, it's been quite difficult, and then when you look back, you think, oh God, I've done okay, done all right. Yes. Yeah.
And it's so true, reflecting, right, and think, yeah, I'm okay, I've done really well. You should be very proud. Now, one thing you obviously said, and again, you know, I know you, but I think it'd be really important to reflect on it as well. Now, you have children, and you've been very successful, a PhD graduate, postdoc, then gone to do these amazing roles, working some really, really top companies in the life sciences industry, and having 2 fabulous children. How's that obviously going on a maternity leave and coming back? How was that transition for you, Preena?
It's hard, but it also gives you that encouragement to say, well, I'm doing it for my children. I want to be a role model for my children. You know, life's not easy. You've got to work hard. So there was always comments, people go, oh, you're going back to work full time. I was like, yes, I've worked really hard. Spent a lot of time in education and then building this new career in the commercial world. I don't want to pause it because I felt like it would stop and then it would be hard to get back into. But then you always have to have something for yourself, and work is, for me, a mom, and I can also have a career, and it's just having that balance. But hopefully my children in the future will say, yeah, Mum, we worked hard.
Oh, that is so sweet. And exactly. And I think it's such a taboo even yet, you know, oh my God, she's a mum and she's working. Why can't we do both things, right? Of course we
Yeah.
can.
You can
So,
do it, definitely.
and it's so sweet. Yeah, mommy can, absolutely. They'd be very proud. How old is your daughter now, Preena?
So Naya's just turned 2 on Saturday, and then I've got a little boy, Cabe, and he's 6.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, they're a challenging age, but it's refreshing. You know, when you come home from a busy day, you just get to play with them, and
yeah.
just
Yeah.
your mind completely changes. Your focus is on them. So yeah, no, they keep me going. They really do.
Yeah, great. No, no. And that is important, right? Of course, like I just said, yes, we can do both. And Preena, you want to be a role model for your children, and they come in. And yet it's important for yourself as well, right? So for your own self. So what is next for Preena? What is next?
Well, I'd like to, yeah, still progress. You know, the aspirations are there. Maybe help shape and progress the business into a different way, or make it more modern, or just
Uh-huh.
times are changing, so we have to be flexible and mold businesses to suit the current climate. So I'd like to be part of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds really exciting. So I guess the other thing again, which is really, really what I love about being in a commercial roles, is that it's not just selling that as a sales rep or a senior territory manager you get involved with so many other parts of the business, correct? Like other.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think it's you know working at SLS, I've been given opportunities, or given opportunities to be involved with the CRM, give my opinion, and then also to help with marketing on
Yeah,
something. You can have these opportunities, but you've just got to say yes, or even just be proactive and ask for it.
yeah.
So again, that it's not just sales, it's everything. It's a bit of variety.
And I think that's so true, Brina. What you said just there, creating opportunities for you
Mhm.
yourself, right? And looking at the wider picture and seeing what else is out there. So I think you certainly have that right attitude to sort of go back and get involved in other parts of the business because it's important for your own development, right? And like you said, you're learning something and you're applying your science.
That's it. Oh yeah, there's so much that you can do. Not, it's not always about sales or your role. You should always look at different ways you can help the business, or just have a try. There's no harm in trying something different.
Yeah. And again, you love being out there, you enjoying that as a sales rep, as a territory manager. Anything that you reflect back and again thinking, I love that part, I really enjoy that, I want to inspire others to do it. What would that be?
um, I just I think it's different to being in a lab, which it's quite exciting. It's fast paced,
Yeah.
and I think
Mm.
if you like being on the move all the time, it does suit you.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, and going out to exhibitions, events, and networking, like you said. Yeah, you're a great networker, right? So it's really, really good as well. That's important, right, for
yeah,
networking. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I think it's so different to be sat at a lab bench or in a laboratory just working in the four walls. It doesn't suit everybody, and that's
No.
what I've learned. I love being out and about in different places. It just keeps your mind going as well, and keeps you active. You're not sat down all the time. You're up and out, out and about. So yeah,
Yeah.
it can. It's a good career path for someone that's looking to still stay in science, but not in a lab.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. No, I think it's a really good. I mean, obviously, we still definitely we need more women in STEM. Full stop. right? We need more women. And as we look at the stats, still not enough girls taking science A levels or GCSE, or not forget about A levels, GCSEs. We need to really promote that. We still need more scientists on the bench. But then again, we also like to see more leaders, and leaders from diverse backgrounds in corporate roles, right?
Yeah.
And one of the, as we spoke last week about this, that we currently certainly have a gap a lot in senior leaders from women from diverse backgrounds. So I hope that in the coming months or years, I would love to see Preena in a senior leadership role. How does that feel? Is that an aspiration? I love that. I love that. Excellent. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, you're right. Remember, like we said at the beginning, right? You got to create opportunities for yourself, and you got to do it. And that's what you're doing, right? So, yeah, and
got to put in the hard work as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not easy. What do you do when you're not running amazing big territory and bringing in all those sales, Preena? How do you relax? What do you do for relaxing? Of course, you have 2 children, so I'm sorry. What do you do for relaxing? What a silly question, Rupa. She's got 2 children. I'm sure you find your time for yourself sometime, Preena.
I love being out and about. You know, I go for walks or runs, even just sitting in front of the TV and watching a film. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It just takes your mind off, you know, work and the kids. So for me, I love doing that. I love cooking. I've always had a passion for cooking.
Great.
So again, my kids are always like, "What's this, Mom?" I was like, "Just eat it. It's nice."
Excellent.
But I enjoy cooking as well.
Oh, great. I took up cooking. I mean, I could cook before the pandemic, but I didn't cook. My excuse was I was traveling a lot and I didn't have the time, but suddenly the lockdown happened. It's been amazing. I find it really kind of therapeutic now.
Yeah, no, I enjoy eating it as well. That's the problem. It's nice because you can, you know, that's if you a couple of hours or, you know, planning it and then thinking, oh, I need to make this or make it look nice or change it a bit. It's like working in the lab. I always said that cooking is like working in the lab. You've got a recipe, you kind of stick to the recipe or change it a little bit. The result might be beneficial. So yeah,
I love that. It's like cooking is like working in a lab. That is so true. But not too many variables, though. You want to sort of stick to the recipe most of the time.
Yeah, don't swap the salt and the sugar. Yeah,
the salt and the sugar. Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. See, the scientist comes out. Oh, I love this, right?
Yeah.
The scientist has come. Scientists at home, scientists at work, right? Which is fantastic, right? Yeah. Now you've had an amazing career, and you're going to have a fascinating. I think you're going to have another next years to come. And like you said, watch this space. I will be watching that space. Now, you know, we both of us said, you know, we come from families who are very keen for the children to do well, and always science subjects was considered the way to go. You know, if you were to have the opportunity to talk to younger self, is there anything you would say to that little Preena, and what would that be?
Well, I wasn't very academic you know, in my younger years. I'd always try very hard, but never get to where I wanted. And I think I used to stress out about that all the time. So I'd say to myself, just don't stress. Things will work out in the end. There's other options.
So don't stress. I like that. There are other options. I like that. Don't stress other options. That's so true, right? Yeah, I love that. Right, that should be your mantra. You should get a T-shirt printed there, Preena. Don't stress. There are other options. It's fantastic. Yeah. So what does
you are always thought, right? These are vocational subjects or careers to go down to. be an optometrist, a doctor, a dentist, you know, and you just think, oh, right, I'm going to do that. I want to do that. But there's other things.
There are other things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm obviously, by age, I'm much older than you. And one of the things that I do when I've been reflecting, and as I'm talking more about Leaders for Leaders, and one of the things I look back, I didn't really have a role model in my career, really. And even you know, it was like, okay, you have to do science because science was, but luckily we all enjoyed it, right? And but I'm thankful to my parents that pushed me into science. My father would have still wanted me to do more, but if I look back and I think, you know what, I never really, and sometimes I wish I had. Did you have a role model? Did you sort of look up to anybody, and did you think, no?
Not in science.
No.
Like, it was just more, I enjoyed the subjects.
Enjoy the subject. Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they helped, right? Yeah.
But like you say, I think we do need more role models to, you know, inspire the next generation.
And here is Preena Lowden, absolutely, an amazing role model and what I call a rising star. Absolutely. So great conversation, by the way, and it's so good to have chai with you today. We need to do this face to face, right? One day, I know you cover the Birmingham territory and I'm not that far. We're going to meet up and do a follow-up chai and Chatcast in person, which would be fantastic. So before we close, again, anything else you want to share with our listeners before we close the chai and Chatcast?
Just be confident. You can do it. Yeah, don't let people get you down. Just, you can do it.
Yes. Yeah. And ask lots of questions.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like you said, create opportunities and ask lots of questions. Oh, thank you so much. It's been an amazing, well, first of all, it's been an honor, Preena, to have you as my first guest on Chai and Chatcast for Leaders for Leaders. It's an amazing, you're truly an inspiration and a rising star. I can't wait to see what you do next. And I'm sure our listeners will also be wanting to know. So if anybody is listening and wanted to know more about working in sales in general, or want to know about SLS, I'm guessing LinkedIn is the best route to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I find it quite an easy platform to reach out to people. Yeah, I'm always happy to have conversations, and you know, people always like, just tell me what you do on a daily, like you know, what's this, what's that, and yeah, I can answer those kind of questions.
That's brilliant. So obviously, if anybody's obviously watching this on YouTube, the name is there, Preena Lowden. But if anybody's listening, that's Preena is Preena, and then Lowden is Lowden. But I will add that in the chat when I post this. But it is, again, thank you so much for joining me on this Chai and Chatcast. I love to do a follow-up when, you know, next you are in your on your next role. Love to see you in a leadership role, because absolutely you're truly a role model and an inspiration to the next generation of girls who are coming up, and also the boys as well, right? So
No, I also wanted to say, thank you for letting me speak, and you are an inspiration. I always follow you on LinkedIn as well, and you're always doing extra things. You're always going that extra mile, doing other activities, and that's inspiring to me. So well done, and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And we will stay in touch. And we're definitely going to stay in touch. I can't wait to get out and do more customer visits in the coming months and years. Thank you, Preena. Thank you for joining us for this Chai and Chatcast episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Give us a follow at all the social media platforms. You will find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have your own inspiring STEM story to share, and you want to inspire and empower the next generation of women leaders in STEM, why not have a chat with me? Connect at leadersforleaders.co.uk and let's have a chat over a cup of chai. Thank you very much.